We're live again, once again, folks. It's Comic Conversation Thursday. Time for a show. We have once again ended the show last week, and a ton of stuff happened all through last week, and we have quite a few topics to cover. Some really cool stuff, some huge news. Want to speculate on a couple things. Give someone a nice send off. There's some cool books actually that were announced, and some movement in some of the upper echelon of some of these companies, and some Star Wars news. And you may have noticed in the title of this episode, a question about something that might happen with Transformers. So we'll get into all that. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. But first, we'll do as we normally do and say hi to Perry Comics, who's first in the chat. If you're listening here, definitely leave us your comments in the live chat. If you're listening later, drop a comment. Let us know you stopped by. Anything you want to say about these topics, love to hear from you, as well as any of our streaming platforms as well. Leave us a comment or review, whatever you want. We'd be happy to hear from you. And that is it for that little plug. Let's kick it over to Chris. I want to find out what you've been up to in the past week.
For me, just working on stuff. Trying to keep up with some of the conventions that I'm looking to go to later on. Finally got a little bit of news coming out of the New Hampshire con that they're having VIP passes and this and that. So those apparently are going on sale tomorrow, which I'm like, oh wow, that's
Sweet.
cool. And then like they had some type of super duper crazy VIP. We get to have dinner with Steranko and listen to him talk about comic stories and all types of crazy stuff, which is tempting, but I don't think I'm going to go for that one. But just because I don't know how much it's going to cost, and it's a one-day con. I don't know if I'm going to, get that deep into everything. I just want to kind of get some books and just enjoy kind of getting away from Boston for a little bit. But other than that, just, same old, just, checking out, different comic news, reading books, and, having fun with my daughter and just kind of enjoying how the weather's getting a little bit nicer out.
There you go. Nice.
I mean, yeah, it's been really just temperature-wise, it's been a really cold winter up here. Not really a lot of snow, which is always good. But yeah, man, it was just
it's a balmy 40 degrees now, isn't it?
And it's funny just because I can think back to not even 3 weeks ago. It was like 40 degrees. Ooh, that's nice. And, and then getting up to the 50s, and we had one day that was like 60, and then I guess this weekend is supposed to be this weekend into next week is supposed to be consistently 50s. So
yeah, down here that's like freezing cold. Everyone breaks out the coats and the boots and stuff. But I remember when I lived up there in your neck of the woods, it'd be so cold, and then we go skiing every weekend. I've talked about that before, but like around this time of year, we'd be out there on the slopes in t-shirts, just because it felt so warm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all relative, right? So, Justin,
can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can Jesse still not hear me? Can you hear me, Chris?
Jesse, can you still not hear Justin?
Yes, I cannot. I'm going to sign off and come back, and hopefully that will fix it. Maybe it's on my end.
We had an issue.
The joys of a live show, folks.
I know. But yeah, no. Sunday Morning Comics came back. So that came back this week. That started, or I guess last Sunday. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, this Sunday I'll be carrying it through. Keep on trucking with that. Need to get a haul up hopefully tomorrow. I think I need to sell this book. Why is this book going crazy on the eBays? Why is Naomi? Is it Naomi? Number 3.
I had read into that. Hold on for a minute. I will try to see if I can get a little bit of information on that, because I had read into that earlier this week, and then just kind of, it's not a book that I collect, so I'm just kind of like, whatever.
Well, that was me too. I didn't either. I didn't, I didn't pick up issue 1 or 2, but I saw that 3 was, somebody said something about it being sold out everywhere. And I just happened to go by a secondary shop that I sometimes go to last night, and they still had a couple. So I was like, all right, I'll just grab one to grab it, I guess.
Just seeing that it's sold out. No one's really,
It's just saying it's sold out. It's like partial origin or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's the partial origin, and then there's another spoil. So I guess if you read it, you'll figure out something else in there. So I don't know if it's a character. I don't know if it's some type of crazy tie-in.
It's all a dream.
Used to read Word Up magazine.
What
unknown is hilarious because like he picked out one of the best little sentences, quips from a hilarious cartoon that Tech Dave used to do a long time ago. I think it's called Lullaby Bear or something like that, or Rockabye Bear. And he's like, "What is it? Is your D for something?" Oh, that's
nice. Yeah. All right. So let's jump into some topics. I wanted to share this, Justin. You may have already seen this. Probably did. This came up in the past day or so. So I'm going to present this to everybody. This is coming up. This is a live television live auction, I guess. Not that it's going to be on television, but these are items from the Netflix, Marvel Netflix shows, specifically Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. So what they're doing, 132 days, so it's going to be like August or whatever. They're actually going to be auctioning off some screen-used items from the shows. So they have some really cool stuff. Justin, like, for example, these things. Have you seen this?
No, not all of that. I saw somebody posted, but I haven't been able to go through the link yet or anything.
Okay. So you can get like an actual suit from Daredevil that he wore on the show.
Nice.
Right?
Wow.
Pretty cool.
All right, everybody, we got to pool our money together.
You can get his batons.
That's pretty sick.
Right? And then this one I thought would be pretty dope for your background, Justin.
Ooh, that would be awesome.
There you go.
Or even the red glasses. I would really like the red glasses.
You rock those?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you wore those, you look like Bram Stoker's Dracula, though.
Yeah.
They got Elektra's size.
Wow. I tell you right now, if somebody had the money and got those, you would have one hell of a cosplay.
Right.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So my cosplay is directly from the thing that I'm cosplaying.
Wow. That's pretty cool. The Iron Fist mask.
Yeah, so that would be like the Iron Fist in like the 40s or whenever, that old Iron Fist they showed.
Orson Randall, wasn't it?
Orson Randall, yeah.
Yeah. This is Misty Knight's bionic arm.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Okay, basically what this means, though, they're getting rid of all this stuff. We're never getting these shows again.
I was going to say, I guess they don't need them for
they don't need them. They're done.
Colleen Wing's katana, I would want this.
What?
That's pretty sweet, right?
That's pretty crazy, though, to think about that. Like, so no more Daredevil. I mean, I can only imagine that, either they would potentially bring it up later on, but I mean, who knows? I mean,
bullet holes
and maybe those
nice.
Of course, as far as the shows are concerned, like, I mean, for a lot of people who will look at it, kind of in a bittersweet way, it's just like, think of it this way. I mean, it's still Marvel's first run of actual, streaming service shows. It's a first run of doing shows that, are kind of their own, just fully formed, television universe that was, streaming service, yes, but, maybe they have some better stuff coming out, rather than trying to look at it in a, sad way or somber way. It's just like, maybe they have some really cool stuff coming up soon that's gonna be on that was it Disney Plus that that they'll impress us with.
Yeah, maybe they want to go with the yellow suit Daredevil, so they don't need the red suit,
Yeah.
But if you want to check this out, it's propstore.com/Marvel-television-live-auction.
Wow.
-preview-gallery/. So I guess if you just do propstore.com, I have a link to it on my Twitter page. You can just click on it. It's a lot easier. So
that's nuts, man.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
No prices have been posted, but yeah, I mean, it's an auction, so it's kind of like a hit or miss, what it'll be, but hopefully be something we'll be checking out.
If you're thinking of buying something, just be ready to empty your bank account out. That's all.
Yeah. I know someone spent $2,000 for a piece of paper that was hanging on a refrigerator in some TV show. They just liked the show, and that was the cheapest thing they could get from the show. And it was a piece of paper.
Well, what can you do? I mean, super fans are gonna get what they want.
Yeah.
And in some cases, the piece of paper is all they can get. I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, you know, when it comes to something like that, like, are they any less obsessive than we are when it comes to, you know, just some of the crazy stuff that, you know, I mean, just, you know, you think about what people do to get comics, you know, all the trading and buying and selling and this and that. And it's just like, you know, to get down to your absolute, you know, collections and your grails and all the rest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For them, the grail is a piece of paper that was in CSI one day. I don't know. It makes me laugh a little bit.
Cool. So yeah, we got some time to save up. So, the next thing we I feel like it was just pretty recently where we were talking about how George Perez retired. Kind of gave him a nice send off from all of us here at the show. Oh, by the way, Edwin chose to go to a Zumba class tonight, so he's not going to be joining us this evening.
Wow.
He had to do a little dancercising with a Zumba. So no, he had something else to do. So, it wasn't that long ago. We were talking about George Perez and, you know, his great career he had, amazing career, all this stuff. And now we get to give a nice send off to somebody else of that same stature, has been in comics for 69 years. He's 92 years old. Now he's officially retired. I'm talking, of course, about Joltin, Joe Sinnott. He's finally retired. Great guy. He's been with Marvel, again, 69 years. He started with Timely Magazine way back in 1951. Did a really famous inking run, really like decades long on Fantastic Four. You guys are familiar with that. His first ink job there was Fantastic Four 5, Kirby's intro to Doctor Doom. Right. And then he kind of bounced around a little bit and then became exclusive with Marvel in 1965. Did X-Men 13, you know, that big Where Walks the Juggernaut? It's like plastered across the cover. It's a pretty famous issue. That's where he became exclusive. He also worked with Kirby and Jim Steranko on like Nick Fury and, you know, Captain America and stuff. He worked with George Perez, you know, who we were talking about, Bill Sienkiewicz, Rich Buckler, Buscema, John Romita, like the list goes on, Stan Lee, all these guys. He's won an Eisner, an Inkwell, an Inkpot, so he's got a ton of awards. But the funny thing was he actually retired from doing comic books all the way back in 1992, which was like right at that peak before the crash. And then he went to do a Sunday strip, newspaper strip for Spidey, right? Yep. Did like the con circuit, commissions and stuff. So that's what he's been doing since then until basically the beginning of this week. Now he's 92 and officially retired. So wanted to give a nice send off for him. I don't know if you guys have any, you know, books or if you ever met him at a con or anything you want to, you know, shout out about Joltin Joe.
I have not met him or seen him at a con, but he may not make it to the Southeast that much. But no, I mean, that's crazy. That's a super long career in comics. Definitely has to be one of the longest, you know, like some of the people around now. I mean, we've got, you know, tons of favorite artists and writers and inkers and whatever. And you might only actually see them in books working for a handful of years, and then that name kind of disappears. So the longevity that he had is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing too, is just, you know, it's a different time and different place, you know, and you know, on the one hand, it's amazing to see that longevity, and on the other hand, it's just like, you know, it's crazy. I think he worked all the way till 92, but I mean, if he was in it, you know, and loved it and was passionate and you know, didn't have anything, you know, if it was something where he wasn't just kind of, you know, forced into making, you know, that decision where he had to keep working and, you know, there was no rest for him, then, you know, that's kind of sad. But if he didn't have that, you know, that hanging over him, if he was just like, you know what, I just love what I do and I just don't want to walk away from it, then, you know,
I believe his manager was like his son or something like that. So it wasn't like he had a like a Kia Morgan type road manager pushing him, you know. So I think it was more just love of the game than you know, being pimped out.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's really cool because just like, you know, And he's lucky to have been able to find an industry and a passion and an actual, job that he was that happy with, that he was able to be in. That you said 69 years, man.
Yeah.
I just think about everybody. I mean, pretty much, if you go back to the point with he's worked with everybody. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
He worked with Stan Lee before Marvel was Marvel.
Yeah.
He was a timely 1951. That was technically before the Silver Age. So there was like a little gap there between Golden and Silver. I guess they call it the Atomic Age. That little like 3-4 year gap.
Yep.
So he worked from there. Silver Age, Bronze Age, Copper Age, Modern Age. He's worked in every single age, kind of.
That's crazy. I mean, it's just like, you must think. I mean, just to think about it, it's just like, I mean, literally, everybody who's anybody, he probably either knew or met or ran into or worked with at some point. Even like Bob Kane and like Schuster and all. I mean, like he had to have met these guys at some point, which is like. I mean, to hear his stories would be just incredible, because he's got to have some awesome stories just about working in comics and just how it all came to be, and what he just his experiences of being through the comic industry, seeing how it changed. I mean, like that would be a great interview to have, is just have him sit down and be like, all right, dude, can we just pick your brain for a while about comics, like how you started, where you came from, where it's gone, and what you feel about your whole experience. That would be a great story. He should write a book, man. Or somebody should write a book for him. Just let him, just tell a story and write a book from there.
That would be great. Like you said, I could only imagine the stories he has and the people he's brushed shoulders with and worked with, and
absolutely,
full of stories.
Yeah, it'd be great to. At this point, somebody sit down and record just him telling stories,
Yeah. And 92, I don't want to be morbid, but it's getting up there, So if you want to capture that stuff while you still can.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But so all of us here at Comic Conversation, we wish Joe Sinnott and his family the best in this new chapter, this retirement chapter of his storied career.
Right.
So, what's today? The 21st?
Yes, today's 21st, first day of spring.
That's right. First, the second full day of big old Disney and Fox being combined, right? That deal finally became officially done at 12:02 in the morning yesterday, March 20th. So they officially took possession of it. They went in. Unfortunately, a bunch of people have already. They went in this morning and cut a bunch of the VP level people.
Yeah.
So senior vice president, executive president level. They started there. They're going to kind of stagger it. And they're saying up to 4,000 people from Fox could be affected. But what they're doing is giving apparently really generous severance packages that could be 9 months of full pay.
Wow.
So these people started getting these layoff notices this morning at 9 a.m. So that's kind of the sad part of this story. But now Disney owns 20th Century Fox, Fox Searchlight, Fox Family, Fox Animation, 20th Century Fox, FX, Nat Geo, National Geographic. They have all of that interest in Hulu now. We've been talking about the 60%. They own a company called Tata Sky, which is in India. Bunch of stuff. And now they have Aliens, Predator, Avatar, Simpsons, Family Guy, on top of, X-Men and FF, all this stuff. So it's a pretty cool time right now because we're getting this huge, massive sandbox for them to play in.
Mm-hmm.
But we're coming up to Endgame and then Far From Home, and we have absolutely no idea what they're going to do. So, even if they didn't, it's still like a weird time to be in where we have no idea what's coming up. Usually they're pretty good about announcing, and they may announce it at like D23, the next like slate of movies, because I think that's the next big thing after Far From Home. But the idea of like not knowing where the next phase is. And incidentally, it's funny, they're not calling it a phase anymore. What they're doing for the first 3 phases, this first, like, what is it, 21, 22 movies, instead of it being phase 1, 2, 3, they rebranded it, and now it's the Infinity Saga. So that's that. And then kind of going forward after this, we don't know. We have no idea.
Yeah, a different saga.
Yeah, some other type of saga.
But
The Doctor Doom saga. I don't know. But I wouldn't expect. So people are like, oh yeah, Fox. Let's get into the AVX or whatever. But I don't think we're, unless, and this is kind of a paraphrasing of a quote, unless Kevin Feige has a script already in his desk drawer, don't expect like a MCU X-Men movie until, and I say MCU X-Men because we still have like Dark Phoenix and potentially New Mutants coming up, but don't expect an MCU X-Men film until at least 2021.
Yeah.
Right. And that would be a fresh start. They've also said that Deadpool is going to be the only franchise to carry over to this new world. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's the only one that, really they can, pull from and not have to worry about. I mean, just because it was successful. So it's just like you don't have any of the baggage that you had from, coming over from Fox and their older movies and everything like that. So that's crazy. And then just to hear that, just the property. I mean, everything that they got. I mean, but then it's like the actual, like I didn't even think about aliens. I didn't even I forgot about Hulu. So they have 60%. That's crazy. I mean, that's really just I mean, amazing to see how much they have, and obviously and we had discussed it before. They're not going to hold on to every last bit of it just because they're gonna go ahead and move a bunch of stuff out of there. But what they actually have to play with is pretty impressive, and it's going to be pretty cool to see like where they're going to go, because we're just thinking in terms of just the Marvel side of it, but then Disney in general is just like what are they going to do with all that type of stuff, like Nat Geo and everything like that. Like that's just so, I mean, there's just so much going on between that. So for our purposes, that's incredible, and it's going to be really cool to see what happens next, and really just how they want to brand it all, like how they're going with Saga, which is and I know a lot of people think Saga, okay, thinking of like like Star Wars and all that type of stuff. Like I but I could see that being something, because I always kind of had a feeling in a way that like the phases were kind of like it seemed like it was kind of like a placeholder name for what they were trying to go with. Even if they wanted to go with I mean, I don't even know how they would categorize it, if they're going to use a word other than Saga. Because I think the saga gets kind of overused a little bit from here and there. I mean, just because, depending on, I mean, there's plenty of different series that use that word, but I mean, yeah, I can see it going on like that, and I wonder. It makes me intrigued though to see it, because so if this is all falls under the Infinity Saga, which is, I mean, man, 21 movies, that's crazy.
Right, soon to be 22.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy to see what happens next. Like. Or what the next saga will be considered and all the rest of it. So it's exciting though. It's really exciting news to hear.
Right. They are planning, nothing like officially official, but Black Widow and Eternals should start shooting this year. Same with Shang-Chi. We just talked last week that they found the director. Now they're going to probably look for, the lead. That should be the next thing to be announced. There's a couple, like Daniel Wu from Into the Badlands, I think would be good. A couple other guys with some good possibilities out there. But then you got Black Panther and Doctor Strange sequels. And then this one kind of ties into something else I want to talk to you guys about. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. James Gunn officially rehired. They fired him back in July for the old tweets. We've talked about that too, with that political back and forth he had, and so they decided to deplatform him instead of coming up with a good counter argument. But here's the funny thing. This is coming out kind of right around the time that this whole deal is closed. But according to Deadline, it's a very reliable news source for this type of thing. Alan Horn, who's the chairman for Disney, said he decided to rehire Gunn months ago. he met with James, Mr. Gunn, apologized to him and stuff, and apparently he was impressed with, when he was fired, what did he do? He kind of did it gracefully, right? He didn't, start spouting off all this crap and say anything angrily or and he liked that, and then of course the response from the staff, like Dave Bautista put out that petition, and then all of us, the fans, were like, no, why? He's good. So kind of Alan Horn took all that into account again months ago and decided to rehire him, but they just announced it the other day. So that's pretty cool. And it actually worked out pretty good in his favor, right? They had to pay $10 million to break his contract, right? Then he gets then he goes over to across the street to the distinguished competition, does a contract for the Suicide Squad. Now he comes back and he does another contract with Disney. So I think he actually came out ahead with this whole thing.
Oh, way ahead.
Right.
And he was really smart too, because he could have took to that. Like, he really could have just been like, flipping everybody off and just, going out in the blaze of glory, and just going off, and saying all these different things just to really, prove a point that, you guys made a mistake in firing me and this and that. But he didn't. He was, like you said, he was graceful about it. He just took his exit, was like, all right, look, this happened. This is what's going on. I'm moving on. Thank you for all the support and love and, everything else. And then, the stars of the movie were the one that took up for him. And they were just like, like Bautista was one of the most vocal. And he was, wouldn't stop talking about it. I mean, he actually even made threats to just go to DC straight out. He's like, yeah, he's like, once I'm done with this, he's like, why not just make a DC movie? Let's go.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good that he's back in the fold. And in a way, I wonder if, if you're on the DC side of things, I think there's going to be a little bit of sour grapes there where it's just like, shit, man. I mean, like, all right, so you came, signed a contract with us, and then you're already going to turn it there. They hired you back. So we get you for one movie and that's it. But I mean, if DC, hopefully they're able to let him do his thing and just like, look, we're going to get one movie out of you. We want the best you can give us. So do what you want. And, let's make Suicide Squad a success. And, good luck as you head back to Marvel to, work on Guardians.
I think they will, to be honest with you. This new direction that Warner's going in with their movies seems to be, they're giving a different look and feel to the movies. They're kind of a shared universe in a sort of peripheral way, but they're standalone stories. And I think that they're letting each of the directors kind of do their own thing. They've learned to let that rope go a little bit. So, Gunn has a proven success with his own kind of style with things.
Yeah.
So I think they'll let him do his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's back. I'm glad that gets closure.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm gonna tie this into this because we're talking about it. Kind of case in point about Warner letting people do their own thing, which may or may not be a good choice, but it seems like they're willing to let this happen. So, the Flash movie, where is it? Yes. Right? They're like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. Ezra Miller's contract is running out. He may not be Barry Allen if he doesn't get a movie. So they threw him a bone. They're like, look, you want to rewrite the script? Ezra's like, okay, sure. But let me go ahead and have Grant Morrison help me. So together they're rewriting the Flash script. Apparently Ezra's contract for Flash expires in May. So there's a really tight kind of ticking time bomb there, so to speak. But the reason I'm hesitant about it, not only Ezra Miller, arguably not the best Barry Allen, CW's is. Grant is Barry that I like. But anyways, he wants to do a darker take on the script. And for me, Barry Allen as the Flash does not match with that kind of the lighter, brighter feel that the DCEU, if we can still call it that, is heading in. So
yeah. Well, I mean, there are some dark Flash stories, but I mean, why not stick with? It doesn't even have to be. Doesn't have to be all sunshine and roses. But I mean, just make something that gets people not to feel like depressed all movie. Just make a Flash movie that is uplifting. Make spotlight him as a hero, like someone that, because the Flash in general isn't a doom and gloom type guy. Like he's even when he's been involved in darker stories, he usually he's one of the more upbeat in there. I mean, he's got a sense of, when it's Barry Allen, he definitely has that sense of purpose. Wally West was a little bit more upbeat in the situation for the most part, but he wasn't really like trying to be, I mean, he wasn't the hero that Barry Allen was. I mean, he was trying to live up to that, but still, I think that just don't go dark. Don't go dark. Just go with the flow of what's going on and just make a good Flash movie. That's all you have to do. Flash doesn't need some insurmountable, especially the way he played him in Justice League. It's just like that Barry Allen is not built for darkness. At least not
the
yet.
only dark Flash story I want to see is Flashpoint.
Yeah.
There's been some dark moments here and there for the most part, but like the thing about
Flashpoint would mean we're resetting.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, he's not that kind of hero. Like I can understand if they're like, all right, we're gonna do a darker story for Green Lantern. All right, I understand that. You can go that way, I guess. I mean, I shouldn't even say it. You can go that way. I mean, because the whole story with Parallax was extremely dark. I mean, but I think that I think he'd be making a mistake going that way. I think that, but also too, having Grant Morrison write it or help him write it is why it's going to take a darker tone, because Grant Morrison is notorious for making those dark heavy stories. So, and
I imagine it's going to be trippy and jump all over the place, and in the third act it'll all come together, but it'll be so confusing until we get there. That's how I see Grant Morrison stories.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, like he's got a wild imagination, so it's just like it's really tough to kind of nail it down and have it be what it needs to be until you get to that point where it's like, okay, now it's all coming together. I understand, but the first 25 minutes of this thing, though, I was all confused.
Yeah, exactly. So I had this up, so I might as well talk about it now. This little logo here, can you see it? We're talking about the DC stuff. Let me present to all of y'all. So this is apparently this is from my my Facebook page, by the way. This is allegedly the logo for Matt Reeves' The Batman film. He was asked recently about it, and they're like, "Hey, when's it going to start?" He said, "It looks like he's going to start filming it sometime around the end of the year." So that's when it's going to be rolling out pretty soon. They probably haven't announced it, but they probably have their Batman picked. It's not not Ben Affleck, but I have a video up, top 10 options for Batman, my picks anyhow. Have one for Wolverine too, but there's some good options out there. So hopefully they'll pick somebody good. They're saying that this is a noir-driven detective story, and it is within this kind of DCEU universe. Apparently, just like these other ones, it'll be kind of its own story, but they'll let you know from background stuff, that it's part of the universe. So it's moving along. And I read a while back that Matt Reeves said he drew inspiration from this from a story, a Darwin Cook story called Batman Ego. You remember that? Came out in 2000.
I never read it, but
yeah. If you like Darwin Cook stuff, it has a very very animated series / Telltale sort of feel to it, and that's exactly what I pick up from this logo here. Is a little bit of the animated series, a little bit of Telltale, right? You see that? Yeah. So that can kind of tell you that there's some
I just hear the theme song from the Batman cartoon.
Yeah, it's iconic, isn't it? But yeah, so that kind of gives you an idea of kind of the direction that'll be in. And again, that's like a really different look and feel from the other ones. Now this is one that can be dark. This is the character that it's okay to be dark with, right? Whereas with Ezra's Flash with Barry, I don't know if that works. But for this movie, it's supposed to come out June of 2021. So a little bit of time left for that. So it'll start filming at the end of this year, take about, I don't know, 5-6 months post-production, then hit the summer after that. So slate wise, that's when it's scheduled for. But I'm excited to see who they pick. Comically Flawed wants Simon Pegg to be Batman.
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny.
Yeah. He says, "Where is Strictly Comics?" Strictly Comics is at a Zumba class. So
he had to go. Was it Zumba or was it a spin?
I think he went to Curves.
Yeah, it's a big night. He graduated. He's been going for 28 days straight.
Yeah. No, he had something else to do, so he couldn't join us tonight. So, all right. I think we talked about. Well, let's talk about some comics for a minute because we talked a lot about movies. Upcoming book that I think sounds really cool is there's a couple. Wolverine Exit Wounds. You've heard of it? It's a one shot coming out this summer. Part of the 80th anniversary for Marvel. And it's reteaming Chris Claremont, Larry Hama, and Sam Keith. So that sounds pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Might as well go ahead and screen share this Newsarama piece on it.
Get some like old.
So you can see the.
Was it Marvel Presents? Sam Keith fun when he was doing those before he started doing the Max. He was doing those, and it was all those Wolverine covers and Ghost Rider covers and stuff. It was awesome.
Yeah, this article here has some of the cover art for it. Let me scroll down. Very, very Sam Keithy.
Oh yeah.
Right, that's totally Sam Keith, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're teaming up to tell a story in a June one-shot titled Wolverine Exit Wounds.
There's a Rob Liefeld.
Extreme X-Men. Yeah, right. Ryan Stegman. Oh, I hate these things. Stop it.
The old pop-up.
You know? Can you not?
Comically Flawed Exit Wounds, like that terrible DMX and Steven Seagal movie.
Go away. It's not going away. All right. I don't want to do that. So, what do you guys think of that? It sounds pretty cool, right?
No, yeah, that sounds cool. I mean, Claremont's on it, so yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
All right.
Claremont and Sam Keith. Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Larry Hannon's also awesome. I mean, yeah. So I mean, that sounds really cool. I like that they're like Marvel's doing that and bringing in people that haven't done it for a while but were really successful at it.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I like that.
I'm in.
Sweet.
Order me both the covers.
That Liefeld cover is hard to look at, though. I don't know.
No, you can't see feet. It's fine.
No, but no, it's just.
Okay, I got it to go away.
Liefeld's getting himself a little bit of a second life, though, just because of that. Was it the
Major X?
Major X, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. There's the synopsis on it. He goes by many names: Patch, Weapon X, Logan, but most just call him the Wolverine. Join Marvel's greatest storytellers for 3 brand new untold tales of the X-Men's deadliest member. Blood, Broads, and Blades. You asked for it, bub.
There you go.
Yeah. So
that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna be like a $10 book, $9.99.
$10.
Yeah, $10. Make you holla.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a 3-part miniseries.
It's gonna be a Claremont story, a Larry Hama story, and a Sam Keith story all in one. So it'll be like an oversized. It's a one shot, so it's all in one issue.
Yeah, it'll be $10.
Yeah.
All right.
No question.
Yeah.
That should be fun. though. I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah.
Other
than the price.
Well, what you do is you would just wait until you wait, and then because I don't think it's going to be one that's going to jump off the shelves. I mean, I could be wrong, but you just wait, and then hopefully, they're having a sale at the shop, and there's a bunch of these left over. There you go.
Great. Let me take some of those.
Comically Flawed said he got hammered with a $7.99 book this week. That Lazarus Risen. I hear you, brother. They got me last week because I got the Star Trek Discovery, like hardbound little book, and that was like $7 or $8 too.
Yeah,
they're sneaking them in on us.
Yeah, they are. That'll be the status quo before we know it.
I'll be down to like 3 titles a month.
Yeah, right. Exactly right. Here's another one that's going to be probably a hefty price point because it's a mini series. This one is teaming up Donny Cates with artist Trad Moore, and it's called Silver Surfer Black, coming out I guess this summer. It's going to pick up after Guardians. Norrin, Silver Surfer, he was sucked into a black hole, right? Black Order made it, sucked him in there, and that was it. But Darren Shan said this. This is pretty interesting. Readers won't realize it, but Silver Surfer Black is a culmination of everything Donny has been writing since his Thanos run.
Huh.
So that sounds like a pretty, like that's pretty important issue to get.
Is that the Venom stuff too then?
Yeah, everything. It says everything. Venom stuff, Cosmic Ghost Rider stuff. Yeah, Thanos, all that.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, like, he's been doing really, a good job with just, the stuff that he's been working on. It's been really, really good. So, and honestly, and I'm not sure if he's a Jim Starlin fan at all, just because of a lot of the whole controversy that came around, according to Jim Starlin, about the Thanos series and everything like that. But it seems like he's kind of going about things in a similar way that Jim Starlin did with his stories with Thanos and Captain Marvel and just Thanos in general. How everything he's written having to do with Thanos has always kind of come together and just kind of gone in this one big overarching story. So it's just like that. I think it's pretty cool. Like I like that. You're able to piece all this different stuff together rather than somebody just kind of working on multiple books and they're all their own single entity. Like right. That's kind of cool that he kind of has his own, just one big story to tell, but he's able to break it up amongst all these different little small parts and then bring it all together. So I'm looking forward to the Silver Surfer Black series.
Yeah, he's really good about calling back to older continuity events and making those important where they were before. Like the whole Null thing, and you got Harpy coming up. No, wait, not Harpy. That's the other book. Let's just go with Null. What was that book? Thor: God of Thunder #6.
Yeah.
Right. That thing blew up just because of Donny Cates.
Yeah.
Things like that. So.
Yep. You said this has something to do with this other thing. Oh my God! Everybody go with it.
Well, yeah, right. Oh my God! This person crossed over with this person. First appearance.
I don't know what Guardians issue it is, but there's the one where they have kind of like I guess an original kind of cosmic Ghost Rider where it's just like there's a different Ghost Rider that would appear in those Guardians books. That's not the cosmic Ghost Rider that's in the current comics, but it still was something like, and for a little bit, that book kind of, got a little bit of life because it was just like, oh man, see, that's what this is. This has to be the same thing, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
He wrote it differently, but I mean, you're right though. Like he does kind of have a good eye for like bringing things from the past, things that people have long forgotten about or wouldn't even have thought were connected. And like, no, like I'm gonna give this life because this is a pretty cool story to continue on with.
Right. Yeah. And kind of building out those mythologies, we thought we knew all about Quintar and all that, but there was so much we didn't realize we didn't know about that backstory. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. And it's a smart thing to do too when you really think about it, just because, I mean, when you have such a long history, especially characters with long histories, it's hard to find new things for them that kind of make them stand out. So to go back and take some of those little, either in some way, shape, or form, potentially even throwaways or just minor details that kind of, just have been laying dormant for all that time and kind of expand on them. That's smart, just because, it gives you so much more to go with. So right. That's why I say I like how he does that, and I like where he's going with everything. So it's going to be pretty cool to see what he does, with the rest of his career and everything too, just because, I mean, I think him just as a writer, has such a just awesome knack for doing stuff. I would kind of like to see him go over to like DC and work with some of those characters, because that would be pretty cool to see where he goes or what stories he's able to bring up through. And I would hope there would be kind of not obscure, but just characters that, like, don't give him the Justice League or anything like that. Like, give him like Legion of Superheroes would be pretty cool. Like something like where it's just like I can build these characters out that people really haven't been really interested in, and now all of a sudden, like, oh, look at this, like, I have this whole big thing, and now people are super into the Teen Titans, or they're super into they're super into the Legion of Superheroes, or this hero or that villain.
Yeah, I could see him on something like The Trench. Yeah. And by the time he was done, it would be like tied to Apocalypse and like all this stuff, the Source Wall, and
yeah, like him with Darkseid, or just even if they gave him a New God story to work with, that would be pretty cool too.
Yeah,
but we'll see what happens.
Right. Something says we're talking about DC, a book that we knew this was coming, and I guess maybe it got delayed and then resolicited. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But Superman Year One, Black Label title. Mm-hmm. We finally know. Hang on one second. Sorry, I had to cough. I didn't want to cough into the mic.
I thought you were like, uh-oh, we lost it.
Yeah, well. No. So we finally know this is the first issue is coming out in June. It is Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. as the creative team.
Yep.
Which we can talk about that. I'm sure we have opinions. And then it's every couple months after that. So second issue in August, third issue in October. So 3 issues. But if you want to wait and just pick it up all at once, there'll be it'll be collected as a trade in November. So this is the synopsis. I have it here. Superman Year One is a coming-of-age story for the future Man of Steel, featuring a young alien boy just trying to find his place in a new world. Faced with the need to hide his heritage and powers in order to survive, Clark will find his humanity through the grounding of the Kent family and the relationships that will define the man he will become. Told by 2 of the most revered voices in comics, Superman Year One is more than a superhero story. It's about the choices made by Clark Kent on his path to becoming a legend. It's a testament to the importance of choosing to become a hero. And I guess it kind of loosely ties to some of his other Year One stuff. Like Frank Miller stuff, but I want to hear what you guys think about it. Most notably, I'd like to hear your opinions on old Frankie Boy and JR.
Well,
I mean, going back to the pairing that they had back on Daredevil for a little while.
No, you can't do that, because you have to look at John Romita Jr.'s recent work on Superman, which was in the New 52 when they did that Ulysses storyline or whatever, and it looked like junk. It looked horrible, and I hate saying that, but he's good at street level. He's not good at capes. Like, he shouldn't do flying characters.
I knew you were going to go that direction with it, which is, and I can't say.
I mean, that's our most recent stuff to compare to what we're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I disagree with you. I think that, the crazy part with it is just to have that be on there. And I know that they want to, be like, okay, yeah, Frank Miller, because, he does, great, dark stories and this and that. I don't know. I mean, I have a hard time trying to get excited about something like that. I don't think it's going to be terrible, but I don't think, I mean, art wise, it's going to be, it's like John Romita Jr. is always a tough sell on people, just because people can bring up some work that he worked on that was great, and then some people go ahead and be like, yeah, but like, look at this stuff, and it's like, oh wow.
Well, one of my this is a teaming that did one of my favorite runs, that Daredevil Man Without Fear miniseries that these two did. Like that 5 or 4 issues? I don't remember. Whatever, man. That was awesome. That is still today one of my favorite things. I can flip through that. I love the way it looks, the way it reads, everything about it. To me, that's a great miniseries. But I just don't see them capturing that magic again. and but they both of them really work for the lower level, like the gritty kind of character. I don't know how that's going to transition into Superman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him getting gritty. I mean, I don't see him getting gritty and making sense. Just because, I mean, you have to think about Superman as he is. Like, Superman's too powerful to be gritty. Any problem that stands in his way, he just destroy it. Like, there's not much that can, there's really not. That's like having a gritty Adam Warlock story or a gritty, Silver Surfer story. It's just like they're too powerful. Like it's not something that you can just make simple. I mean, they don't have to resort to those same type of tactics like somebody like Batman or Daredevil.
Well, and I mean, to be fair, it's a year one, so I mean, it's basically just an origin story.
But it's year one with him being, it's
year one. But all it sounds like is he's going to be on the farm in Kansas.
Here's the deal. It could be year one of him dealing with things. Like, let's say he goes to Metropolis and he's seeing a lot of crime for the first time. All right, fine. You could have, I mean, basically the environment around him is going to be gritty and nasty, but he's still, I mean, he's Superman. You know what I mean? Like,
he gets his power from the sun. He's always radiating, like, heat and happiness, I'm sure.
I thought on it. It's just like, I mean, so I guess, like, I mean, you could go to him experiencing, seeing some of these things for the first time and being like, oh my God, this really shook me up to see, gun violence, and or like it shook me up to see, somebody trying to rape somebody or something like that type of stuff. Yeah, okay, I could see him being kind of emotional about that, or dealing with a murder, or dealing with it. But for the most part, I mean, it's just like, all right, so we're going to be dealing with him being emotional, so it just seems like he's going to be doing a lot of crying. It doesn't really seem like he's going to be...
It's really just going to be a lot of him, like, feeding the chickens and the cows.
I mean,
I chores on the farm.
I just don't see it as that. Like, I just... It's a hard sell for Superman. I'm sorry, like,
yeah,
there's not really much you can do. At least
there's a bike thief in Smallville, and that upset him.
I say that just because, and I will be 100% honest. I say it because I couldn't write that story. Like, I couldn't. My imagination isn't good enough to be able to be like, okay, you need a gritty Superman story. Let's go with this. It's like, nope, I can't.
Well, it wouldn't start. It wouldn't be at the beginning. It wouldn't be the first year or whatever. Like, that wouldn't be a gritty story.
No,
yeah. That's what this is. It's his childhood.
Yeah.
So,
his child. I thought so it's not him being actual Superman yet.
No,
it's him learning what it means to be a hero and then becoming Superman.
God.
So he's still just Clark at this point.
I just told you. You didn't listen.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no. Then this doesn't make any sense. I'm
That's
sorry.
right. That's what I'm saying.
It just. I don't see it. Is he going to get bullied in high school? I don't understand.
That's probably going to be part of it.
I'm sure.
Maybe he fights back and really hurts someone, and it messes up his head, and Pa has to like console him. And,
right. And he always wears like a red jacket with a blue T-shirt, and he's kind of angsty.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. I don't know. I mean, but that could be told in one issue. Oh, okay, so. I went too hot, like I punched this guy in the face and I really hurt him bad. Okay, well, don't do that anymore because you're a special kid and you can't do stuff like that. You'll hurt me. Okay.
I sneezed and blew the barn down.
Yeah, exactly. Oh well, whatever. I mean, it's gonna be probably another $5.99 book that I will probably not pick up. I'll probably pick it up in trade if anything, or just. Just to see, because to me it just sounds really, it just sounds like a strange story, and I don't know if I would want to spend money on it.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll definitely pick it up to look at it. I don't know if I will bring it home.
Issue. Yeah, I'll pick it up and put it back on the shelf.
I may actually just read it digitally. I mean, just save myself the whole experience of having the book in hand, just because. It just seems weird. It really does. It's not, and not even so much for the art team. I mean, the creative team behind it, they have their demons and they have their critics and everything like that. But when it comes down to it, it just sounds like a doomed story, like a failed story. So that's
Yeah.
just, I could be wrong.
The first issue will come out in June, and then in true Frank Miller style, the second issue will come out in November when it was supposed to be collected, and then the third issue will be like 2020. You know, it's gonna be like how long did it take Dark Knight 3 to come out? Like a year and a half.
Is it finished? Is it still? I don't think it finished.
I don't even know. I just I don't know. So well,
it's supposed to be a Wonder Woman Black Label story at some point too.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll end up, if nothing else, we can do it like as a review for the show, in June. So
yeah, I mean, issue 1. All right, let's get into it. That's how I feel like it's gonna go. So I'm like, well. I mean, I wouldn't mind being pleasantly surprised. I just feel like it'd just be kind of strange.
Yeah. So, okay, talking about coming of age stuff, kind of changing gears a little bit again. That's my gear change with a little grind. Stranger Things season 3 trailer came out. I don't know if you guys like that show or not. Yes.
Yeah, it came out like yesterday.
Yes.
I don't know that yet.
And it looks pretty good. They're growing up. It's more like that coming of age type of story. They're like teens now. They're kind of slowly growing apart. It's the summer. They're learning all about what that means, and the girls and stuff like that. And then there's some monsters. So it looks really cool. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be, for me, that my favorite obviously is the first season. I think this season looks like it'll be the second, and then the second season will be my third favorite, if that makes any sense. But it looks really good to me.
I can say it like that. Again, I haven't seen the trailer yet. I liked the first season a lot. I mean, the first season was great. Second season had its good moments. It had some weird moments too when they had her introduced. Well, when they had introduced her stepsister, I guess, in the experiment. Like that whole thing where she kind of just goes and hangs out with that kind of like the bad crowd for a little bit. It was a little strange, but overall though, I mean, like I liked it. I thought it was a good season. I thought they did well with kind of building up the reunion of Mike and 11. I think that was pretty cool.
Right.
But I like how they ended it, where it's just like you thought everything was good, and then but in truth, what the drawing that Will had, the vision of actually is coming true. It's just happening in the upside down, and just you don't know what to expect of that, because it seems like that creature that is in the upside down world is just becoming more and more powerful. So I'm looking forward to that, and I just hope that this is another strong entry into the series, and that I mean, it makes me wonder how long they're gonna go with it, because I can't see it being something that lasts like 6, 7, 8 years. I think that I think they might have like 1 or 2 seasons left in it to kind of close out the whole story. Which and I hope they do it in a way that's good. Like if it can stay strong, that would be great. I mean, and if they do have enough for a long series, I'm on board so long as it's good.
Yeah, I have a feeling this will be the last season, because I don't know what else they'll have to say after this. Because they'll be older and all that. But yeah. Shout out to C. Woodard. He popped in. He said, "Hey, from the Comic Core House." I believe he's at C2E2. So I asked him how it is. Maybe we'll get little news from the ground there. So
yeah.
So a couple interesting casting choices to talk about. For Black Widow, they got this girl. Her name's Florence Pugh. I don't really know. She was in a couple of Shakespearean things. She was in Fighting with My Family. That movie about Paige. Yeah. And I don't know much about her. And we don't know much about the plot, but if you look at her, she looks like a really young Scarlett Johansson. So that tells me, okay, maybe what's a young ScarJo, young Black Widow? So Red Room, origin story. So that kind of tells you a little bit about the direction that they're going to go with that. So that's what I extracted from that. But other than that, I don't really know who she is. So I wanted to mention that. Not much to say about that other than, hey, cool. Okay. Red Room backstory. The other one, this one is, oh boy. Yeah. Noah Centineo has been cast as none other than I'm going to say Prince Adam. I don't believe he's going to be He-Man. I think he's just it's going to be like he's going to be Shazammed, you know. Somebody else will be actual He-Man. Come on, that's computer, fun. Right? Yep. That's how I take it. So this came out in talks, so he's not officially, you know, everyone's like, hey, he's doing it. He's in talks to do it. Granted, they're final talks, but he's not official yet. So does that guy look like He-Man to you?
No.
Thank you.
They dye his hair, and you know, they dye his hair and put him in some CGI. Because it's funny that you mentioned Prince Adam, because that's Ray Jr. from the Comic Book Fanatics had commented, and he's a big He-Man fan. So he was like, "This can't be," and I'm like, "Dude, honestly, I think that's going to be Prince Adam, and they're just going to go ahead and CGI him into Superman, and just that's how they're going to do it."
Because, so when he turns into He-Man, his hair turns blonde, maybe.
Well, I'm not making him dye. Or give him a wig.
Yeah. He was on To All the Boys I Loved Before, which I think had Lena Condor on it, who's on Deadly Class. Really good show, by the way. Yeah, so they may either do like CGI him or just have a whole other actor.
Yeah.
You know? Like they do with Shazam. With Shazam, they have Asher Angel and then Zachary Levi. So two completely different actors doing basically the same person, and it works because of that difference. And that's kind of the same thing here. You know, they could kind of go that same route, even though Prince Adam is supposed to be like the super jacked guy that just walks around and nobody notices, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, is
Dolph Lundgren. Yeah. Dolph Lundgren cast as He-Man, King of the Golden State.
He's even bigger. It's like he goes from being like, you know, he goes from being just, you know, your average, like, you know, well-built guy to being like, he'll go from like, you know, Jason Momoa to like, you know, Conan the Barbarian, like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Conan the Barbarian when he holds a sword up. Like maybe that's where they're trying to go with it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Not impressed to begin with.
No, it's
not impressive. That's why I was like, I don't know how this is going to land with the guys. You know, this news. I'm not buying it either. I'm not.
It upset us. It made us crack, right?
Yeah. Don't do it. So that was the interesting one. The other thing I wanted to. Are you guys familiar with Dune?
Yes.
Yes. I know. I've never actually watched or read it, but I know about it.
Okay. Amazing story. Frank Herbert. It's sci-fi classic novel. They did it in I think it was 84 or 85. They made a movie about it. Long movie, but really good. This movie has been the kind of remake of it has been in like development hell for years and years and years. And finally, this past year, really, we've gotten a lot of traction on it. It's going to be coming out in November of 2020. So next year. Big news. Well, Denis Villeneuve is directing it. He did Arrival and Blade Runner 2049. And I don't know if you guys saw my video on Akira. Taika Waititi is supposed to be the director for it, but I think Denis Villeneuve would be really good for Akira. But news that came out, I mean, it seemed like for a while they're like every week, every other day, we were getting like major cast. We get Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa, Josh Brolin, Zendaya, Dave Bautista, Javier Bardem, Stellan Skarsgård, like that huge cast. Everybody's in it. And we have Hans Zimmer doing the score. Yeah. Along with Denis Villeneuve as the director. That's just a setup for success right there. I mean, that's just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this one sounds epic. Like, I mean, and you got to think about it. Like the first, like the you know, the Dune that we all know is Dune. That had so many people in it too. If you go back and watch that thing, there were so many people in that movie. You know, so I like that they're kind of filling this one out the same way.
I think that the thing with that one, and I like I said, I've never seen it. I know it came out when I was younger. I just never got a chance to see it, but I think that one of the things with it is that, you know, this is one of those kind of movies that, you know, they made it back in the 80s and it just wasn't, you know, it just wasn't the right time for something like that. Even though, you know, like you could do it and make it look cool, you know, cool enough as it was for the time. But now with the technology being what it is, you can really, I mean, show Dune the way it's supposed to be. Like kind of like even though and the original Blade Runner still holds up and it still looks really good. But 2049, you know, it wasn't as good as the original Blade Runner, but visually it was incredible. Like I mean,
Right,
I still think, I mean, it may not have been as good as the original, but it was solid. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. And a lot of those same elements, you know, like the big billboards and stuff, the neon aspect of it in the city, a lot of that is also in Neo Tokyo. So that was kind of one of my things about, like, if he could get it visually there, it would match over here as well with Akira.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Akira, just if you've been an anime fan, and especially if you've loved Akira, you know, from the get-go, I mean, because you look back on that movie, I mean, my God, like that thing, it was in 1988 it came out, and even in 88 it was just like, it was so impressive for the time. And it's just like, I mean, if you buy like if you're able to get it on a Blu-ray, it's just, I mean, it's as impressive now as it was then, just, you know, upscaled and put into, like, you know, just that really, you know, crisp, nice, you know, new format that you know, works on all our new technology. But it's just like, you know, if you've been a fan of it, I mean, we've been teased so many times with it. It's just like, oh, I mean, I can't tell you how many times. Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if you highlighted it in the video specifically to say, you know, this many times it's been, you know, rumored to be coming, but I mean, literally, it's like so many times rumored to come out, rumored this, rumored that we have this, you know, we've gotten this far, no,
I did.
So it's just like, you know, and I mean, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
2002.
So I mean, for everybody, I would say like this, you know, if you haven't seen it now, I'm gonna go ahead and check that out too, just because, you know, I really am interested to see, you know, to hear all the information having to deal with it. But I mean, you know, the history behind, you know, getting a live action Akira is pretty crazy too, just because, I mean, it came out on cartoon format and they wanted to do live action almost from the get-go with it. There's like, this would make an awesome on-screen, you know, live action movie, but they just could never get it done. So I really have, you know, I mean, I would love to see it actually come to fruition, just because, I mean, it's been so long and so many different, like, rumors and stories and just, you know, disappointments when it's just like, they have this going, this is what they had, nope, done. I mean, everybody talks about, oh, you know, like the Gambit movie's in development hell. No, Akira's been in development. I mean, I don't even know what you would call it, development hell. Like, I mean, what's something? I mean, it's been in like the development negative zone, phantom zone, purgatory, hell, everything. It's been everywhere but where it should be, which is out into the public. So
it started in 2002, multiple iterations, maybe half a dozen directors have gone through it at least. Multiple iterations. They've been talking about doing it as a 2-part movie, deciding whether it's going to be the anime or pull from the manga, which is a much bigger, broader story, right? The movie, the anime, takes the first part of the manga and the last part of it and kind of put something in the middle. There's a little mashup there. But yeah, so many directors have gone through it. They had a bunch of people. There was a time, I think it was around 2008, when they were really close to having the deal done. The problem with it, and what I said in my video, one of the central stories there would have been whitewashing, because of the people they were looking at, like Keira Knightley, bunch of these guys that wouldn't be good as Kaneda or Tetsuo.
Yeah, I want to say at one point,
I think, and they were talking about doing it as Neo Manhattan versus Neo Tokyo. Yeah,
I remember that, and I remember they had at one point, and this might have just been a rumor, but I remember hearing it as like Leonardo DiCaprio was thought to be as attached to it, or they wanted to get him to play, I think, Kaneda and all the rest of it. And there's just like, but I remember Neo Manhattan. I remember hearing that vividly, and I was like, you can't do that. Just, I mean, you have to shelve that. Like, please don't, you know, or if you do it, don't call it Akira. Call it something else. Call it Billy. Don't you call that Akira.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tease my video. Watch the video. There's some really good reasons why it should be Neo Tokyo versus anywhere else. And I outlined it there. So it should be Neo Tokyo. It actually got really close. They had a production studio set up in Vancouver, and they were all ready to go. And it came down to kind of this narrative with the whitewashing, but also the budgeting was a huge issue. Like, to do this right, you need a huge budget.
Oh yeah.
I would say a good 200 million. Warner wanted to do it for about 90 million, and they just could. They ended up just shutting it down. I know, but they fired it up recently past couple years. And Taika Waititi is the one who's on to direct it at this point. So we'll see.
I'm trying to think who. Like, I'm not sure exactly which company initially put it out, but I'm trying to think like who. I mean, because you did the video and everything, who actually has the rights to try to make that?
It's Warner Brothers.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say because I mean,
well, they have a deal with oh shoot, I want to say Legendary Pictures.
All right, I was gonna say
yeah, it's like a co-production deal they have.
Yeah, because if they were able to, I'll put it this way: if they were able to put some, like if Disney was able to put some money into it, I mean,
yeah, no, it's not Disney. Yeah,
I mean that would have been crazy, but you know, it's just one of those things. I mean, I think that they can do it well because it's not going to be. I think that you know, having at least Taika Waititi attached to it is a very, very good sign, and I'm hoping that really this is able to get off the ground, and finally I can see my live action Akira.
Right, exactly. We're all waiting for that. All right, cool. So we got that. We also have the big news with Dune, so that's pretty exciting too. Those are huge properties, right?
Yep.
Dune. Yeah, and Comically Flawed is putting up some really good casting choices. So shout out to him for that. Couple quick things that I want to jump into. A Star Wars piece, and then I know Jason's been waiting for this Transformers news, so I just want to get a couple quick things out. We'll get to that. I do all my cataloging for my books and my collection with comicbookdb.com. They sold it to comicbook.com this week. So nothing's changed yet, but I'm like, oh man, you know, comicbook.com, they're going to put up paywalls, they're going to put up ads and all this stuff. It's not going to be the same. So I was disappointed to hear that. So I need to it's going to be a situation where I have to find a new place to do my my cataloging of my collection, which, oh my God, is going to be fun to do from the beginning again. So there's that. I wanted to mention that. Stranger Comics has a book called NIOBE. It's NIOBE. Right. Then in other news, I know CBSI has had it up for a couple years. They've been pushing this one. Picked up by HBO. They got the TV and the film rights. The creator, his name is Sebastian Jones. He's also the CEO of Stranger Comics. He's EP and he's co-writing it. And it's are you familiar with it at all? Have you heard about it?
The NIOBE comic?
Yeah, NIOBE Ayatami.
I've never read it.
Okay, so it's
seen them.
Yeah, it's the synopsis. Young black half-elf who seeks the courage to find her faith and who reflects the duality of spirit and inner conflict we all share. So that's kind of who she is. Young black half-elf. There's a couple books you would look for. The Untamed, NIOBE She Is Life, and then NIOBE She Is Death came out like 2 years ago. So I want to mention that. If you see it, maybe worth picking up. But start with The Untamed. That came out, I'd say about 10 years ago. So there's that. You all familiar with Axel Alonso, right?
Yep.
You know that guy? Mr. Axel? Yeah. So he, former EIC for Marvel, went over to Bill Jemas, former Marvel publisher, and said, hey, I have an idea. Why don't we go ahead and start our own publisher? So they're creating a new publisher called AWA. It's Artists, Writers, and Artisans. That one of their goals is getting opted. They want to put out this stuff and go ahead and get some film rights sold up. Comic Book Realm. Okay, I'll try that out. Comically Flawed. Yeah. Cool.
Well, of course they do.
Yeah. So a couple titles. They're gonna have American Ronin by Peter Milligan. Highly trained operatives of huge corporations. Bad Mother by Krista Faust is gonna be there from them. There's a book called Fight Girls. It'll be by Frank Cho. He's writing and drawing it. You got Michael Moretti doing a book. So they got some stuff already in the works. They're also going to be Alonso has a team of advisors. He's calling it a creative council, and he's got some good names on here: Margaret Stoll, Greg Hurwitz, Garth Ennis, and JMS. J. Michael Straczynski.
Babylon 5.
Yeah, right. So he's got some good people advising him. He's got a good creative team. He's got the experience for whatever that's worth. So this is something to take a look at. I don't know. I'm sure they have diamond, privileges already, so you'll be able to order it through your shops or whatever. But check it out. Look into it. Might be interesting. And then hey, they're looking to get opted, so you got that too. That aspect of it, if you like the specability of it all. So there's that. Tim Seeley, you guys know who Tim Seeley is?
Yep.
He is now managing editor for Heavy Metal magazine.
Oh wow!
Right, that came out of left field.
Also with him, it was just announced last week that Tim Seeley is going to be writing the new Bloodshot over at Valiant with art by Brett Booth.
Yes, that's right. That's going to be good.
Tip of the hat to Jackio for throwing me onto that. But wow. So now I'm definitely going to be picking up a Valiant book now.
Yeah. Yeah, Tim Seeley's going to be busy. Yeah, he said he's doing this, which is he's pretty stoked about. But he's still going to be doing all of his, writing duties alongside it. So, yeah.
Well, and if you think about it, if you look at what heavy metal really puts out, not a lot.
Yeah, true.
So he should be able, it's not like, I don't feel like that.
It's the one magazine and that's it, basically.
Yeah, really. I don't feel like it's going to be for somebody like him, somebody who's been in the business for a while, it's going to be a couple hours a day maybe dealing with it, but it's not going to be a full-time thing.
Yeah, you're not managing 60 titles and 240 people,
Right.
Yeah. So cool. And then the last thing before we get into those big things, Jeff Wadlow, he did Kick-Ass 2, Truth or Dare, which is a horror movie that came out like a year or two ago. He is doing Danger Girl.
Nice.
Danger Girl movie. It'll be pretty cool. He's got the experience
have a
there.
Michael Turner cover.
Yeah, right. J. Scott Campbell.
J. Scott Campbell, sorry.
Yeah. It was Wildstorm, Jim Lee's imprint. So he's got the experience there. He did, Kick-Ass. That's a Mark Miller adaptation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Danger Girl's one of my favorites from the 90s. Danger Girl, Fathom, those types of books. I like those.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty happy about this. I'll definitely be looking to see Abby Chase. It's like like a little Tomb Raider, little Charlie's Angels, a little Indiana Jones, all thrown in there together. So it's pretty cool. I hope he does it justice.
I think it's gonna be...
Go ahead, Chris.
I think it's gonna be pretty cool to see that come about. I'm looking forward to it. I think that's a really cool story, and I think that as an indie, it's definitely a book that people are familiar with, people know it well, and I think that's gonna be kind of a fun to come on to the just come out in the movies and just kind of give people a different just kind of a different look, and just different comic book movie to kind of go out and see. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be pretty cool.
That's my thing with Danger Girl is we all know what it is. How many of us have actually read Danger Girl? Jesse, you said you did, but really, we know the covers. That's what we know of Danger Girl is we know the covers. That's it.
Yeah. I remember there was one page, I think J. Scott Campbell was talking about it once. He said he wanted to be one of the first people to show like the dynamics of a car chase scene on the page and have it be like, hey, it works pretty good. She had a Porsche, I don't know what it was.
A 911, I'm sure. Something.
Yeah, it was something. But it was pretty cool. It's a cool story. It's a little, a little campy, a little cheesy, but it's good action, good fun. So.
Right. No, I'm excited. I hope they do a good job with it. It'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm like you. I remember when that first came out, and just like, wow, this is so cool. And then what? It jumped over to like Cliffhanger or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And now it's with IDW. IDW has been making the last few, like Revolver, Hot Shots, all those.
Right.
Yeah, all through IDW. So interesting, right? And those are pretty inexpensive. So there's a few variants out there that are higher than the others, but overall, you could pick up that whole run for a decent price.
Yep.
So there's that. All right, let's talk about Transformers. So Lorenzo.
Is Jason gone? I think Jason's gone. All right, go.
All right. Go. Yeah, now that he's gone. Now that jerk left. No.
We're just kidding, Jason.
yeah, just kidding. No. So Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, he's a producer. Pet Sematary is coming out, so he's doing the whole press tour for that. But he's also the producer for the Transformers film. So inevitably, people were asking him about, hey, what's going on with Transformers? What can we expect? And all this and that. So he said a couple things. One of them was, I know the next Transformer, our attempt anyway, is to sort of do a fusion of Bumblebee and the Bay movies, a little more Bayhem. Yeah. So they want to do a little bit of balance between that, making these characters relatable, kind of more human, which we really got from Bumblebee, the nostalgia and that piece of it, but with more action, I guess, so that combination there. But he also said this. One of the things I want to see, and I don't know if we'll do this particular thing, but I think we will eventually do a love story between Transformers.
No.
And then everyone's like, holy shit, the robots are going to fuck each other. So, I want to see that. But that's kind of making the rounds. Yeah, please don't do that. So
don't even think about it. That's ridiculous. Look, you have one job, and that is to give us the Generation 1, and that's it. G1 Transformers, a full movie of it, and make it good. That's it. It's your only job. Don't sit there and try to play games with stupid things. There's no reason to see Transformers having love stories. I'm sorry. That doesn't make no
exactly. Do the human thing, do the relatability thing. That's cool. But, they don't need to be completely human,
Just do the story that came out this week. It's Optimus before he was even called Optimus, and Megatron was always called Megatron. And they're just like buddy cops on Cybertron. Give us that movie.
Yeah, give us. We got glimpses of it in Bumblebee. Give us that G1, that OG story on Cybertron. I would just be happy with them just having a battle the whole movie and no story.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, honestly, I thought I went ahead and 100% just. I'm not ashamed to say it. I went on YouTube and I looked for just the G1 parts. I knew it was only be 10, 15 minutes of that movie. And I watched that whole thing and I enjoyed it. And I didn't waste my money on Bumblebee because I wasn't going to. I want a whole movie full of that. And if you can't deliver that, well, then guess what? I'm only going to watch the part I want, and that's it.
Yeah, but exactly.
And here's my other appeal to everybody who, claims to be Transformers fans. When you sit there and have something like that come out and they say to you, well, guess what? We're going to be doing something like a robot love story now, and we're going to do this and that. You have no one to blame but yourselves for giving these people money. Stop giving them money. This is what you get. Like Michael Bay did it in the beginning. He committed sacrilege and messed Transformers up completely. And now you're potentially going to have a Transformers date movie. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So for anybody who's mad, I can't believe this. If you paid money to see those movies past the first one, I don't even get past the second one, because the first one wasn't terrible. The second one, That's when you realize you've made a horrible mistake and you shouldn't give these people money anymore. If you paid money past the second one, this is your fault. And you have no one to blame but you. And I don't give you any credit for the whole 10 minutes of G1. Like, well, if it wasn't for me, then they wouldn't have made the G1 pot. No, they made that G1 pot to suck you back in just so they can do the stupid shit that they're looking to do. Plain and simple.
No.
Yes. Yeah. And that's just the way I felt about it. I'm glad that I didn't, I'm glad that that's not, I'm glad that I jumped out when I did, and I'm glad that I take the stance that I do, just because in terms of it, I just expect better. There's no reason to have it be just those type of foolish ideas to even make their way into, serious discussion for a Transformers movie. That's just, just ridiculous. Sorry, but that's just me. I'm calmed down now. You can move on to whatever you'd like to do. I'm just saying in general, not a fan of that foolishness. And what the hell is this? Oh my god!
You never seen this?
I have. I wasn't expecting to be waving at me. That's all.
He's just trying to be helpful.
Yeah,
just trying to help.
I just thought this kind of was appropriate for our conversation. Okay, enough of that nonsense. Yeah, so
I'm not happy about that either. I don't really care though, because I gave up on Transformer movies a long time ago.
Yeah. And did you jump out at number 2? Or did you stay?
What happened in the third one? Is that where we got the Constructicons?
Exactly.
No, that was the second one.
Okay.
It was a big dog. Yeah.
I saw the second one. I guess that had to be the third one.
Yeah.
As soon as they had those the Transformers with the grills, I was like, okay, this is really getting bad.
Oh, like the little Hondas.
And then,
two guys.
Huh? Yeah, the two
little Hondas or Chevy Sparks or something.
Actually, what they did, the Soundwave pissed me off because he was a big satellite. That made me angry. And then when they're like, oh, the Constructicons are going to come together, I was like, oh, they're going to make Devastator. I can't wait. All right, now we're going to get to see something cool. And when it was a giant dog, I was just like, nope, this is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. It just had that, like, mouth.
Yeah. It was
a scorpion thing.
Like, I could excuse what they did to Scorponok a little bit. Just, all right, they made him a giant scorpion, fine.
Wait. The third one was where they had to, like, find the old Transformers who'd just been, like, chilling on Earth forever or something, right? Maybe.
The Fallen?
Yeah, that was it. Okay, I've seen that one on TV.
I haven't. I haven't watched any of them since that point. I refuse.
They were like old man Transformers.
Yeah. But now, just like they're just all the same, And and because of that, I didn't even want to go to see Bumblebee. So
yeah. I saw it for free in a little preview thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
How was John Cena? Could you see him?
Yeah, right. No, he was the worst part of that movie. Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Did not like his character. I do not like his acting.
Nice. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So yeah. So there's that. But the final topic for this show is a Star Wars topic. So Game of Thrones, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, they're showrunners for that. That's ending, of course. And this has been a rumor for a while. People were like, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. It's come up again. They're doing a trilogy for Star Wars, separate from Rian Johnson, separate from whatever else is coming. It's their own thing. And it's said to be set in the Old Republic. This is coming from a website called StarWarsNews.net. So you see all the people posting about it. I'm sure you've seen that in maybe your news feeds, Facebook, whatever. All comes from the single source. Says it's reliable. And they're 95% confident. That's a quote. So take it with a grain of salt still, because it's still that singular source. But it's supposed to take place hundreds of years before A New Hope.
Excellent.
Hundreds of years, which is cool. But keep in mind, everyone, when they hear Old Republic, they immediately go to Knights, right? Knights of the Old Republic was about 4,000 years before A New Hope. So this wouldn't quite be in that. You had the Old Republic. I think that came out in 2011, right? That was like 300 years after Knights. So that gives them a pretty open, sandbox to play with.
And
I wish they would
Jedi.
tons of Jedi. Exactly.
Yeah.
We finally get some like Jedi Sith type. Like if you go with Knights,
we'll
you get
the
Darth
first movie,
Malak. Maybe Darth Revan.
Yeah.
Like that type of stuff. So that would be really cool. I hope. They said hundreds of years, which doesn't line up, which was kind of my hesitation with it being Knights. But I really hope they do Knights of the Old Republic. That would be so dope.
Bastila, man, I remember that game. That game was amazing. I love that first one. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, because that's what people are looking for, and especially when you have and I know we've beaten them to death over and over again, but when you have the potential ending of the whole Jedi Order and everything like that based on The Last Jedi, you can't. I mean, the thing that makes sense about that, and the thing that is just self-evident throughout it, is you can't have Star Wars and Jedi. It's just not possible. It's just that's what everybody. I mean, the Jedi and the Sith and the lightsaber fight. That's the star of the show. Doesn't matter what else you have going on. Like, I mean, and I can even say, even if you do the extended universe stories that they're doing, like that Solo and stuff like that, you can kind of go away from that, but for the most part, if it's going to be an actual legitimate Star Wars movie having to do with the entire lore of it all, you have to have lightsabers. You have to have the Jedi.
Yeah. Which is smart to go backwards instead of forwards, because it gives you that sandbox. You're way before Order 66. So
And the thing that I'm curious about too, with it all is just, I mean, and maybe for those guys, it's extremely smart because they know better than why am I gonna have to go ahead and invent. I mean, obviously, make up new characters, but at least it's somewhat within the same like you said, the whole sandbox to play in. But going forward, I think it'd be hard to create, basically be starting off a new series, from the, this is the end of, the Skywalker saga. Now here we go with something new, and this is going to be the starting point of it. If I was them, I'd go backwards too and say, okay, look, this is what we're going to go with. We're going to go all these hundreds of years back. So at least we have kind of something to line up to, and we can use the old stuff to kind of make, at least this is what we're making our point onto, and we can kind of go off some of the, I guess, established history and kind of draw from that to, help shape our world. So
it'll have to wow me like so much at this point.
Yeah.
They've burnt me out. If they're doing 2 consecutive trilogies that are going to be separate, what are we going to have? We're going to have
on top of all the Disney Plus stuff.
One in the winter and one in the summer, like we're going to get 2 new Star Wars films a year now.
Well, here's what you do. What you do is you go like this. You say, all right, I'll stick with the Game of Thrones showrunners one, and the Rian Johnson one, we just don't even mention. We throw it in the trash. I don't give a shit what happens next with that. I just think that, like, for everything included and everything else, it's just weird. And I also kind of, with The Last Jedi, I wonder if the reason why it was so far out from what everybody expected, because he's trying to, because maybe his trilogy is, a starting point and a new way to go forward. So maybe he did it kind of selfishly to set his trilogy up, without, even considering the rest of the actual saga, that episode 9 and just how it was going to make people feel. He's just like, I'm going to set up my thing and what I'm going to do, and then episode 9, do whatever you want, but like, this is what I'm doing. So
but I mean, if I was a director and they were like, all right, we want you to do something with Star Wars, I would definitely say, I want to do something in the past.
Yeah, for sure.
Or anything that we've ever put in a movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't want to touch the future at all because you've messed up the present.
I would do a show with the Millennium Falcon, and they have to travel back in time to San Francisco in the 80s and pick up a whale.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because there's like the probe, right? And it's like messing with the planet, right?
And only the whales can talk to it.
Dude, that's so cool.
I just thought of it. Original idea.
That's a thing.
No, I like going to the past. I think that you can have some really really awesome, especially like lightsaber battles and all that type of stuff. I mean, you can really push the envelope there just because if it's more commonplace in that point of time where you have Sith and Jedi having major battles all over the galaxy like that. That would be, I think, really cool and just something fun to see. So I like the idea of those guys, having a trilogy, and I like the fact that they're going to go to, hundreds of years in the past, to see it happen. And if it would be added bonus if they went ahead and did that Darth Revan, Darth Malik story,
Yeah.
in order to kind of, pay off to all the people that, played the games and remember the story and want to see something really cool come about from that.
Yeah, for sure. Couple people in the chat have some comments. Iron Galactus wants to see a remastered version of The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, but with lightsabers. That's a great idea. And Mr. Unknown and Comically Flawed are making me laugh over here. Iron Galactus wants also to see a movie where Short Circuit proves to be a precursor to C-3PO. That's a pretty good idea, like a proto C-3PO.
Johnny Five is alive. Johnny Five is alive.
So some good ideas there, and that would be in the future because Star Wars was a long time ago. Interesting. But so we'll be looking forward to that as that comes about more in development or what have you. But for me, for Star Wars, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is actually The Mandalorian. I think that's going to be a pretty cool show. So that's going to be on Disney Plus, of course. Don't know much about episode 9 yet. That should come up probably at Celebration, which is next month, believe it or not. So maybe we'll find out some more there. Maybe we'll get like a sizzle reel, behind the scenes type of reel, maybe a title reveal, something like that. So be looking forward to that. And as that comes out, we'll definitely be talking about it here on the show. That's pretty much it. What do you guys got coming up on your channels? Sunday Morning Comics, I'm hoping.
Yep, Sunday Morning Comics is back. I'm just rolling with it. So set your clocks, everybody, about 10:30 every Sunday morning. We're gonna keep cruising on with Sunday Morning Comics.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then plus hauls and whatever else. Still got some Magic unboxings to do too. So there'll be some more stuff coming very soon.
Cool. Be looking forward to it. And how about you, Chris? More haul stuff? I know you've been putting up a couple hauls lately.
Stuff coming up. So I get some books to show, some hauls I picked up, and just kind of helping to get myself back to organize with putting some books away and all the rest of this wonderful stuff. But just some hauls and some back issues to show, and hopefully getting some type of confirmation as to what kind of pass I'm going to get for that con that's coming up in April. So I'll be looking into that and seeing what goes on. But just get just some haul videos coming up, and one that I'm working on to show the G.I. Joe run. Once I kind of can get that edited and work the way I want it to, that'll be up. That's kind of a work in progress, just because I'm trying to actually try my hand at doing a little bit of editing rather than just kind of going straight into shooting a video and just uploading it. So I had to use my my directorial skills to make me think that will be kind of cool. We'll see. But I'm excited for it, and I'm just working on it little by little to get it going, and hopefully pretty cool stuff going on. So so look for the haul videos, and then when I get my chance to get the G.I. Joe stuff up and running, I will definitely go ahead and let everybody know, and that'll be up soon. So that's what I got going on in my channel.
Cool. Yeah. I have fun with the editing part. Putting in fun stuff. You just make it fun. Whatever edits you put in, or little blurbs, little lower thirds, whatever you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like a tedious, boring process. You can make it fun. So.
I want to do all that. I want to do a couple of cool things. It's just trying to figure out, just how to use that software and know exactly what's going on. It's very different. I've never done it before, and I know I've seen some people that just have some amazing stuff going on. So just gonna try my hand at it. Nothing I'm not going for Spielberg quality, but I am going for something that looks just more fun and
well,
just.
It all just takes practice, man. So I mean, just get it to where you think it's pretty good, and let it out, and then do another one, and it'll be better, and do another.
Yeah.
Yep. So I just figured,
exactly.
because that's been kind of a passion of mine. I want to go ahead and try to, and it's just a fun milestone and fun run to collect. So I want to go ahead and just do something kind of special for that. So that's a little bit down the road, but for the most part, just pause for now. So, but it will be. It's on its way. It's just in production.
Yeah, cool. Be looking forward to it. Well, for me, my my Shazam review drops on Saturday, so excited to get that published out. I did my my recording of it pretty much right away because I wanted to capture that fresh memory and excitement and stuff like that. I didn't want to wait the full month, so. That's all ready to go. So that'll be coming out on Saturday. So that's it for me. Yeah. More stuff next week, more history stuff, more book stuff, more of this show, all that stuff. So we got a lot coming up on this channel, on this show itself. So I'm definitely hit the reminder button, hit whatever you want. But just don't hit each other.
With Nerf weapons. Nerf weapons only.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for being here with us. I know that you do have a lot of options, whether it's here on YouTube or on TV itself. So thank you for choosing to be here. We really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow both here and on all of the panels channels. We all have great stuff, as we just told you, going up pretty regularly, so you don't want to miss that. And thank you as well for the folks who are listening to us in the audio version, podcast version. You can find that on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Whatever you choose, just search JLS Comics. That's the easiest way to find it. And that'll do it. This is Comic Conversation, and we'll see you soon.